floating like a river in my head.
All right, today's video is going to be pretty detailed. If you have been curious or had additional questions after I showed you last year Elevate Science grade 7 and want to see a comparison with the elementary stages and also the updated view of the teacher database and what it should look like, how to use it, how to adapt it, how to navigate it, which is much user-friendly than what I showed you before with the corrected view. Stick around with me. This video is for you.
Look at me and see that I'm the type of girl you're not really that used to.
Welcome back, friends. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Arlene with Arlene and Company. As I said before, I'm going to show you an updated view or review of Elevate Science grade 7 with a comparison of grade 5 here so you can see the difference. I'm going to dive into a little bit into the book form of the student text of the grade teacher 5 view, which is all into the online database dashboard viewer. As you can see, I have multiple programs in here and I'm going to take you through all that. So if you only have one program that you purchase, for example, the science, you're only going to see that science there and nothing else. But before we get into the nitty gritty and all the little details of or the basics of looking into your teacher view, let's stop for a minute because this is where a lot of the confusion lies and a lot of the questions I learned through trial and error myself because I had the same thing happen to me. So if your view, when you log in, looks like the picture I'm going to put up right now, if it looks like this, you're only seeing this black and white look with a, the kind of not really table of contents, but items and categories on the left-hand side, a search bar here, and all that jazz, and you're only seeing this. You're not seeing all these colorful little things. I'm going to show you how it changes a little bit, and you're not seeing your, if you set up a school, you're not seeing this little bar up here, but you're seeing like, a basic thing as well. And you're not, let's look at this. Let's look at this. If it doesn't look like this, my friends, if it doesn't look like this, you do not have the teacher view. Let's get that out there. Very, very important. This will make or break this program for you. This will make or break it. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not have this view, you do not have the user friendliness of the teacher view. You have the admin view. The admin view is what you get with your initial login from Savvas Realize, and that is where you can create your, your classroom, your teacher view, and all this stuff, and create additional teachers. Maybe it's you and your husband or partner or whoever teaching, and you want to create more than one, access to that account or stuff like that. So that is from your admin view. One other thing that got lost in translation with me was that you get a follow-up email that tells you initially how after that admin account how to set up a teacher account from your admin. I never received that. So when I did my initial review, I had expressed that I had to talk to Savvas because some of my links or my interactive links were not working right. It wasn't loading how it was supposed to or letting me do what I was supposed to. And it was like one specific thing. And I spent some time on the phone with them, which they have been fabulous. I've talked to them a total of 3 times. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. But anyways, I went through step-by-steps and they troubleshooted it for me. One of the major things that I'll also mention, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tips along the way in case this is the program that you choose for you, is that I was using Safari. I'm on a MacBook. I use Safari by default. Savvas Realize just does not work well with Safari. It just, it'll open fine, but then there's some things just like glitch up. So go ahead and either if you don't have a browser as your Google Chrome or something, that's, go ahead and set that up and open it in Google Chrome or something, not Safari. All right. It solved instantly all those issues that it wasn't loading. However, because I spent the time with them on the phone and navigating how to fix those issues, I assumed incorrectly that my view was how it was supposed to look because I had already talked to them. They helped troubleshoot my issues. So I thought what I was seeing is what you get and that's it. And I never saw the second email. So I even expressed in my first video that the user friendliness was a little bit of a headache because I found so much richness and a great resource in having the Elevate Science that I put in the work to learn where things were and to find it and research it. Fast forward some time after that, I saw something in one of their webinars that made me realize that my view did not look anything like what they were showing on their video. That prompted me to call them again and say, hey, what's up? Is this something that is just homeschool specific? Do we just not get that same view? And that started a whole slew of them walking me through setting up a teacher account. When I set up the teacher account, my life had changed. Step-by-step guidance. You can also look under their Savvas YouTube channel and find out exactly how to set up that teacher account, which is very simple, actually. However, listen to me, friends. They are there available for you, okay? Just like they are available for the teachers that, for the schools that purchase their through here, technical support, and go ahead in there. But you could also view it in your email, that direct line, or just look on their Savvas. And they're available by phone. I don't even mess with doing the email portion of it. I just talked to them. They answer right away. They are the sweetest people, and they walked me straight to it. I have no affiliation whatsoever with Savvas, okay? This is just me telling you my experience over almost the last thing that you are going to see is your school setup. And now you can do this is set up a classroom, which I did. Raven Prep is the name that we gave our homeschool years ago. I have some mocked lessons that I assigned here, so just so you guys can see how you can populate things over here. And then if you do this and create assignments, you can go straight to that as you're doing that week's lesson, right? And that will help you like navigate that. But this is your teacher's preview of these lessons. And you know, if your kiddo turns it in, or if you need to go ahead and do these actual lessons with them. Questions. So the first thing I'm going to tell you before I even go that you can browse through category, feature, resources, table of contents, and all that jazz. Before I get into all this, let me let you know of this tiny little icon here that will make you happy. Okay, so the biggest question, especially with the elevateScience, not so much perspective that still hums with a hard copy teacher edition book. The elevateScience does not. Everything is online for the teacher view. So where do you find the teacher edition? Do you have to go in through each and every lesson or topic to look at your teacher portion of it and answers and all that jazz? No, you do not. If you prefer to see it all together as in a book form, you see this little icon right here. Click it, my friends, and it's gonna make you happy. All right, so right here, you're gonna see it's gonna tell you the student text. I'm gonna show you why you would use the student e-text. This is gonna be wonderful, especially for your kiddos that have additional needs, such as dyslexia, like my oldest, or things like that. The elevateScience Course 2, which is grade 7, teacher edition. So right here, you can click on here. It's gonna give you an information if you want, but just go ahead and click it right on there. It's gonna open up this other view, open into new window. I do have a usually opens up into Realize My Reader app, and which goes into something else, but this particular book is not in my library for some reason. Everything else is. But you can bookmark things from here. You can view things from the table of contents here, your bookmarks. You can add annotations and highlights if you want to add notes as you're previewing your lessons and so making your lesson plans. You can open these little notebook tabs and go ahead and type something in. You can look up the glossary, and you have some settings here as well. So if you want to change the font size, that's something that you need. Maybe you have issues with your eyes or anything like that. You can go ahead and do that as well on here. And then here on the bookshelf, I'm just going to briefly show you all the other stuff here. So on your bookshelf, you can browse all your books. This is going to include readers. You're going to include all your textbooks. So here I have it marked, so keep textbooks on top. So I have like the social studies here. This also comes in Spanish. It has a student e-text. It has the grade 5, and it also has the teacher edition, as you can see right there for my grade 5, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And then it's going to be like a bunch of readers that this has to do with like my perspective, my science, everything else. So it depends on what it is. This is all like, as you can see, you have the table of contents, and this right here, it's clickable, so we can go straight to a part that we need. So this is all like those teacher prep pages, just like I showed you in my perspective. Their introduction is quite hefty. There's quite a bit to it. topic 1. So you're going to see the same thing that you see in their student text and their consumable book of the student workbook, but you're going to have these added elements that are for the teacher, right? So you're going to have the standard alignments if that's something that you need, topic material list, or you can view these things online. Remember, you don't have to view things in this view, but for those of you that prefer to have that book view for your science, then you can view it from your e-text and put it in your reader and just view it from there, bookmark it. You can choose to print it if you like, however you like to do that. But that would be like a whole lot of pages, so I would not recommend that. On here, you can see that there is going to be, like, for example, here's a sample answer. So if there's an essential question or if there's a quiz or anything like that, your answers are going to be right on here in your student edition. I'm going to have some samples for you. So here you can see that on the red or pinkish. Is it like more, it's more like hot pink, right? It's going to have some examples of the answers that you're looking for. Here you're going to see, like, you know, go to the video, on access online, and so all that stuff. All these things are going to be in the student text. There's going to be interactive, so you're going to be your students going to be able to follow through and click right on the videos when it pertains to it and go from there. So for example, here you see this, like, analyze and conclude, and you have some answers. All right, so this is, like, for example, lesson 1, plan or structure and functions of cells. You're going to see your objectives. Students will recognize and explore what you're looking to you know, your end goal is. Students will conduct an investigation too, and it'll explain that part. Then here is, again, take the time frames and stuff like that with a grain of salt, because this is made for a classroom environment. So your timing is going to be different in a homeschool, so you just adjust it for what you feel fit. But if you need something to, like, follow, kind of think of, okay, how should I plan this out? Where should I do this by? Then you can look at this. So objectives connect, like half a class period. If you want to look at that interactivity, the lesson 1 student edition, it tells you the little bubbles with the time of what it should take. And then, you know, for example, it will even give you a time frame of what the video, how long it is. So you can look at that, how long a virtual lab is going to take. So you can plot these things and help you plan things out. So you're going to see these for every lesson and look at that. So on here, here's your first lesson. So cell theory connects to the real world. Explain to the student that some kind of bacteria, such as the one shown on the previous page, can lead to outbreaks of diseases in homes, schools, businesses, and even communities, and so on and so on. So here is your instructional material right in a book form. So if you're looking for the student text and you want to follow it in this format versus per topic, per lesson, and looking at the both of the teacher elements separately, but you want to follow in the book form, which is what I do, then here is your teacher edition, your teacher guide. You're going to need to spend some time to navigate how to find things. Remember that there's an additional amount of resources and extra stuff, a lot of stuff that you may not need, but there's a lot of offerings because they have to provide stuff for learners that English is their second language, learners that have learning disabilities, learners that are ahead of the game. They have all these different things that are worked in. Then they have whole groups. Then they have small groups lessons. There's all these different components that you're gonna translate. I know that sounds like a lot and it sounds like a little bit scary, but it really is not. If this is the method that you want to do, as long as you spend some time getting to know the program first, it really is very doable. One of the trips I say with, if you see whole groups and small groups, which is mostly like you'll see that in the language arts, is I basically ignore that and I will do the whole group portion, and I will do some of the small group portion as obviously as a whole if it's something that enhances your lesson planner. So again, if you had like no clue how to plan this out, what you were supposed to do, are you supposed to follow the consumable book as a workbook? What are you supposed to do with it? Here we go, friends. Okay. You can use this as a guidance of what sequence to follow it, and then go rogue if you like. Okay. Because remember, this is meant to make a teacher's life easier in a classroom environment. This little bell will show you any new add-ins or things that they have done. Here you can either browse by category. You'll have some feature resources here that will take you straight to those things. Maybe you know for a fact that you want to do a quest. Maybe you know for a fact that you want to do a certain hands-on lab or interactive. Maybe you know that you want to watch a certain video and you do not need to go through the actual lesson. Then you can just jumpstart here. Here you will have the books and readers and things like that if you want to go into a particular lesson in the student text. But let me just quickly show you that icon again. We're going to go into the student text this time, and let me show you how this is also very helpful for maybe your dyslexic child, or maybe your child is really ahead in science but they're not necessarily you know, up to par in the reading and stuff like that. So if you go ahead and just hit play.
The cell system. How does the structure of cells determine their function?
It will read the page to them. This is their textbook in a digital form. But the difference is here you're going to be able to click through exactly what they need. So here's the guiding questions. Here's the different elements. You can click on the vocabulary, the academic vocabulary. You can go from there. You know, you can see all these different things. You can download the worksheet. What I do when there's a lab is I go ahead, if it's not like, if it's a quest or something like that and they're both working on it, I download it and print it. So here, for example, this you connect like, what can you see? The background phenomena, the materials needed, the safety, the design of the procedure, and then you can record. You have the observations here, analyze and conclude. So maybe you want to do this as a family type of study for that particular lab. You can go ahead and work that in by going ahead and just printing what you need. You also see that little print icon on the right hand side. Here again, you can go ahead and have it talk to you. And then here is whenever your book says, okay, here's a video. If you're looking at the student text, the video is right there. So here you can see it right where you would see it. So again, this pertains to that. Your student videos are going to be a mixture of whether it is an animated video, whether it's going to be something that is from the news, whether it's going to be a scientist talking to you, whether a career. It's going to be a very big mixture of videos and also labs. There is a couple of the instructors that do the majority of the labs, and they will be doing the labs with of an idea. Hands-on labs, you would click on there. Again, you have, this is your student view of that your child will see, and just get an idea of a different.
Here's a pop quiz. What do these three things have in common? A barcode scanner,
I love the way that elevateScience incorporates like real life relatable information to the kiddos. So real life science into whatever concepts they are going to go ahead and tell. So the videos will connect for a specific video, and you just don't want to go through all the stuff. Let's just look at electric force just for the fun of it. You can go straight to the video if you already know what you're looking for, what the title of it is. So here's like an example, an animated video. There is a mixture of stuff depending on what you are learning about. Here on the teacher support tab, I'm going to show you what you can see here. You can see specific answer keys and stuff. Again, you can see those answer key by going right into your teacher text. But if you're looking for something very specific, you could also remember to search for it, or you can go right under the actual title of whatever it is. So answer key for a day in the life, and me right back to here. You have assessments. Let me show you a little bit about assessments. Here you have a benchmark test that you can give as well if you are, you know, in a different track that you feel like that's necessary or for whatever reason. So benchmark test by topic. We can go into here, and you can look at here, so grade 6, 7, and 8, and it will tell you the benchmark, what benchmark it would be, the topics that it would cover, and have that, so you can go ahead and download that specific benchmark test so you can have that schedule ready for you. So what you can do here, for example, benchmark test A, we can start it and we can do it digitally. There is also, you can download it as a physical form. You're going to click assign. You could also add to a playlist if you're going to be sharing this with something else, or just customize. You're going to assign, And then on here, you're going to type your student's name. As you can see, it says to student name. I'm not going to type my kiddos' names and last name on here because it has like everything on there. Anyway, so, and then you can set the start date and due date. This is the same way that you would assign like an entire lesson, an entire topic, or video, or a project hands-on or anything like that. You can go ahead and do that, and then they would have access to all the links and everything that pertaining to it in their student text that will follow them one thing at a time. So benchmark text, you would do that, and it would assign, and then it would show up on your database on the home screen right over here. Is how I did these. So like I said, I put a whole unit, I put like a due date on it, and we can click all that jazz on there. You have some practice as well that you can go ahead and do, like practice activities and questions and things. You can play around with this for like ever and ever and find so many things. So program resources, this is I want to show you here, and getting started with middle grades Elevate Science. Okay, so here, if you want to know about Elevate Middle Grade Science and have a whole overview, here we go. All right, I probably should have started with this, but you know what? Sometimes I just go as I go. Any resources, all this is under your program, like help. This is just by searching by category. All this is already organized per section for you. This is just if you want to jump start into something. All right. So here under feature resources, if you want to look at a specific under careers, I think this tab is pretty rad. Here, for example, is a career video, field biologist, marine biology. Actually, let's do environmental engineer, because that is something that my daughter would be totally like looking for. So then here you're gonna have like basically like an interview type of video, or somebody in that field presenting their field.
Than you would realize. They appreciate living in New York, but they also appreciate the planet, and they want both New York and the planet to be here for a long, long time, long after they're gone. Hi, my name is
Then
Zyra.
engineering workbench. These are these are rad. They're badass, and I think they're awesome. Anyway, so here we'll tell you what topic they are in as well, if you're just jumping ship into it. But let's just say, for example, from wastewater to tap water, just so you can get an idea of what's in your text for that. You have that you engineer, and then you would have a design element. So this is an engineering type of hands-on labs. I'm not going to go into that. The interactives as well. All these are part of your lessons. Again, this is just jumping ship straight into something, but you can have your kiddos just go ahead and type in the answers right on here, or if it's a drag and drop, or it's, you know, putting something together or whatever, it's gonna be on there. But again, it can be assigned to them, so they can view it in their view, or whatever not. The quests we already talked about. Everything's arranged the same exact way, and this is range A through Z for me. But here is your virtual labs. All right, so for example, here's the colors of the sky. It's gonna give you a tutorial of how to use the page, like the draw on any part of the screen, or erase, welcome, how to get started, the lab notebook. Click on the icons to stay below. You can turn this off so it doesn't turn on every single time. I keep it on because my life is better that way. But it'll just show you how to navigate each one. So these are your virtual type of labs, and there's a great mixture of it depending on what you're looking at. This is like a physical fitness one, so it's pertaining to that. I think these are pretty fun to do. There's like some of like their chemistry, and you're like mixing stuff in. So these are your what your virtual labs will look like. So you can manipulate the screen and manipulate numbers and make things happen differently depending on what you do and adjust. So these are fun to do and incorporate. So again, this is another element aside from your hands-on lab, aside from your quest, aside from your engineering. There is a lot of hands-on, because this is a phenomena-based curriculum. All right, so let's look lastly here, and then we'll take a peek at grade 5, and then I'm going to show you the physical. Here's everything is arranged for you in order. We went through like just looking at specific things, but here's everything is arranged for you in order. Getting started with middle school grades, and it's going to, you know, give you all that to bit, and then it's going to open that other screen for that one. For this particular subject is going to be arranged by topic. That's how it's broken down. And then ending with program resources in Spanish. So let's just go, let's see, human impacts and the environment, because for some reason that's my kick right now. Population growth and resources and consumption. So here you have assign all. So I can go ahead and assign the whole entire lesson to whatever student I designate. And here you have like the e-text, the consumption part, and here's the teacher text, and this is the one that I will be able to look at and go into. So you can like look at the 3 dots. You can add it to a playlist if you're going to be sharing this with another instructor, and they would have to have access to Savvas and all that stuff. That's more like classroom settings, but or perhaps maybe you have another teacher in your homeschool that teaches too. Then you can set up like 2 teachers under there, because that would, you would do your admin, and then from the admin you would set up 2 teachers if your partner teaches as well. All right, so then here you're gonna have it in the order that you're gonna do this. So you're gonna connect. This is your warm-up activity. Again, here, if you didn't have the physical thing, you can download it and print it if you prefer to do it that way. And then, so this is the Connect Activity Lab. So you can open with this. You can look at your teacher text. Obviously, you're going to be referencing that before you even go into this year. Look at your teacher text, see how you're introducing the lesson. And then here is going to place everything in order of what you're going to need for that lesson. All right, so you're going to follow your teacher edition. That so you know how you're introducing the lesson, and then go into that actual topic, and then in that topic, it's going to list everything in order for you. All right. So you're not going to just like, okay, I'm just going to talk about growth spurt, but how am I introducing this lesson? Look at your teacher text. Okay. And then you have the materials and what you're documenting on that. So that is your inquiry warm up. That is how you introduce a lesson, is with something that is hands-on and concrete, to get them investigating and asking questions, and to to talk about it. All right, so here is the first element of population and growth, and then you can have it go ahead on here and put in the notebook to take some notes. Here's the guiding questions. Here's the hands-on lab. You can follow just like here. The vocabulary, when you click on it, it's going to go ahead and tell you what it is, and you can go ahead and hit play.
Rate, the number of people born.
And it will tell you what it is. And also, I can change the language on here. All right, and then academic vocabulary. There's different from the vocabulary, the academic ones, and then the hands-on lab, and then you can just hit next from here, and it's going to take them through the interactive student form. Right, so you don't have to go into the student text. You can just go straight into the student in the student tab, or I'm sorry, under the topic. So I'm showing you both ways that you can do these things, or 3 ways actually, because whatever fits your vibe. So if you rather follow the physical book and then have this as an accompaniment up, so you know what order you're following everything, and that the links to the videos are right here, that is the easiest thing, because the videos to the links are going to be right there. You're not going to have to search or anything like that. You don't really need to search either, because everything is divided by topics and lessons or anything like that. So it's fairly simple. But here, anything that is a download activity or anything like that, it's right there. Note that all these things can be done in the consumable form of your physical book. So here's your math toolbox, intro lesson that we just went to, interactivity, the modern life, and you go through here, and then this is the interactivities that you're going to be able to type in your answers on there. That's what it means by interactivity. And then you have the next interactivity, just so you can see a little bit of a difference. And this one changes up. So you have learning outcomes, investigation, and the different parts, activity that you're going to do and what they're going to document. Then you go straight into a virtual lab. So here, again, it's set up for you in the order that it follows in the book. So if you open to the topic in the table of contents, it's going to follow the order that is in. You're not searching for any of the elements. It's going to all be there. Whatever is part of that lesson is going to be there in order for you. Right here, you can read everything. Investigate. As you can see, this is like a virtual lab, so you're going to be able to manipulate things. and move things around and do whatever is asking for you, analyze, conclude, imagine, and such. All right, so that's a virtual lab for that part. Again, this is all like the computer components of it, but then you can go ahead and have other elements. And now you have the videos that is part of this. So here is the population growth and consumption video.
Picture a big party.
Which we showed that before. And then this follows up with an additional video. Again, you follow along with your teacher text as well. And this and the student consumable text. So you know exactly, if you have this open, here's a lab video that I was talking about. So you have a couple people that do the lab video, and they demonstrate how to do the lab, so you have that backup for you, which I think is very, very important.
Hi, I'm Marielle.
She does a lot of the labs, like the chemistry and all that stuff, and it's really helpful to see the demonstration of it, especially if you don't understand the instructions, if science is not your thing. Or maybe your student is doing something more independently that you've deemed that it was safe for them to do, because again, this is science, so you want to make sure that you investigate lab as well. This gives them everything they need, like the materials, the procedure, step by step by step, and the analyzing the questions that they're going to be asked. All right, so as you can see, there is a very heavy component of labs, and so especially if you're looking based in the higher grades, which I'm going to be showing you high school in the near future, and you want to make sure that it's heavy, like you have that lab component. Definitely edit the questions if you want, but here you can go ahead and give it as this way and have it read to them, and they can, maybe you just want to do it verbally or such. All right, here's going to have the standard alignments that you're going to do, and go from there. All right, so that is the whole entire lesson 1 under that topic 7. So if you have your consumable book opened and you're following along with the book, and this opened under the topic, you'll be able, right when you see the icons in your book, it's going to be able to tell you, okay, here's the link it's talking about. Open. Here's the link. Make it super simple to follow along. Elevate Science Grade 5. It's the same setup. You have the same browse by category. You have here, instead of topic names, with grade 5, is going to have properties of matter, changes in matter, earth systems, earth's water, human impacts on earth system, solar system, patterns in space, energy and food, matter and energy and ecosystem, and then program resources, Savvas readers. Let's look at those, and have these that you can assign to your kiddo. We're going to open our library here again, and you can have these assigned to them. So phenomenal readers, learn the properties of matter. And this is something that you can go ahead and gift to them to read in addition. So you're going to have access to an online database of library books for all these things. And it's going to be at their reading level, or, at the general range of their reading level, right? Pick for that specific topic, and you're going to see that there's going to be a few under that topic. So human impacts on Earth system, here's some K5 science. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and get a handle on the program overview, all the specifics, scope and sequence, hands-on, all the stuff, right here is your introduction. So again, I assign you homework before when you choose a curricula that is made for a traditional school setting. This is my homework to you, to please spend some time doing some professional development for yourself so that you can learn the program itself. All right, so here we are. I was actually in one of the things. So let's go into Earth systems. You're going to have a topic launch, and then it's going to go into each part. So again, you're going to have the same setup. Everything's going to be listed in order: quest kickoff, the rubrics, the connect lab, and everything else, and any videos that may be pertaining. This little tab here, this little tab right here is going to take you to your teacher guide. Remember, the sciences does not come with that physical teacher guide anymore, so you're going to view it from your Realize reader. So here it is, and again, these are clickable, so you can go ahead and view this at your leisure at whatever order, and you can expand it, you can shrink it. I'm just gonna quickly go on through here, and I can go ahead and read this or download it right straight into something else, or just view it in my reader, which I can bookmark and know exactly where I'm going to go for the next part. So it remains interactive, right? So here it's just going to explain all the different parts and how it connects and all that jazz. Maybe you just want to go ahead and skip on forward. So we're going to have table of contents. Here's a pacing guide for those that are interested as well. So you can look at like earth science, how it's divided. Here's topic 1 overview. The objectives are going to be listed under each lesson, and how you're going to do that. The integrated approach to your instruction and how it's integrating ELA and other elements. Here it's going to tell, this is next generation standards aligned. So science engineering practices, what your students should already be capable of. These are important things. Sciences, engineering practices on here. So especially if you're not used to doing a very like traditional type of sciences, and like, okay, what is their building block that they should already have? This is good to look at. And then students are working towards for grade 3 to 5 here. So this is what they should be capable of. This is what they're working towards. And then grade 6 to 8, students will develop the skills of, and then so you can look forward and then go into college and careers. I think this is really excellent. I love how it shows you the big picture, and it comes back to like the beginning and like turns it all the way around. So investigating and explaining regional climate patterns and local meteorologists. As adults, students can apply these skills by doing this. Here you can see the topic material list is going to be right on here. One of the biggest questions is this stuff that is going to be like rare and stuff like that. Look at guys, salt, sugar, baking soda, flour, gram cube, hands, lens, plastic cup. Obviously there's going to be some science specific things, but I think for the most part it's just elements that are very easy to source from your home, or just easy to go for a run and grab. If you're doing hands-on science, you're going to have to grab some supplies, all right? All right, so here you follow along, and your answers are also going to be here. So you can follow along with your student text, and you can, again, download this into your reader however you like, and then just follow along that way. I do not recommend printing this. This is just way too much. They see in their book. And then this is the answer. This is the extra information for you, the teacher. All right. This is for extra support if you need it or if it applies. Here's with the connecting labs and things like that. Or someone that does not are able to do a hands-on curricula or something that has a lot of elements of hands-on. This is not for you. All right. If you do not wish to take the time or capable of taking the time to learn how to navigate something that is going to be half online and half physical, this is not for you. If you do not have time to prep for lessons and you want something that is open and go, which I really feel like you guys know how I feel about open and go. It does not exist. Or I know I'm going to get eggs at me. Listen, I know there's things that are written as open and go, but I still feel like everything needs prep. That's me. I know, don't come for me. But if you feel like you need something that is way more open and go and that has very little low prep time, this is not for you. If you want something that really is going to be elaborative and cooperative and has a lot of elements into it that is going to make something that is abstract into a 3D form for them, and that they're going to better understand as they have those building blocks and continue into a sense that they're going to be able to transition if they need to into a traditional school. Maybe that's not your goal, but maybe you're on a college track. Not saying that you have to do it this way to be on a college track. Absolutely not saying that. But maybe you just want to follow this track because you know that it's going to cover what you need to cover. Then this is for you. If you don't mind putting in a little bit of the upfront work, this is for you. Okay? But please remember who it's not for, because I think that will save you a lot of money, because this is, especially in the middle grades, this is not cheap. This is not one of the cheaper programs. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that it is. It's not. But it is right on par with how much curricula costs at this level. And with what it includes and the expansive amount of material it includes, and just show you my perspective really quick because I didn't get a chance to show. It's from Savvas as well. I'm going to be showing you my view, but this is what it should look like if you were looking for this. For my perspective, it should look like that. And I'm going to be showing you my view soon-ish, and it should look like this. It's going to have quite a bit and stuff like that. But just know who's it for, who's it not. I can keep going for quite some time. We can view all program views like this, or you can view it on that sidebar as here. You can sort by grade, you can sort by subject, however you like to do it, whatever works for you. I'm showing you grade 5 since we're doing a comparison. Just so your student text is going to have a very familiar look to the grade 7. It's divided by topic. Renew your online access. Let's say you're going to use it with another child. You didn't use it student text or anything like that. Yes, you can just go ahead and call them. You will have already a homeschool account set up with them, and they will give you the pricing to update and to renew your online platform for another year. So okay, yes, so let's go into topic 7. I don't show my kiddos work unless they give me permission to. So that's why we're skipping forward. Actually, this is way forward, but it works. Anyway, so patterns in space, you're going to have divided into lesson 1, 2, and 3, or however many lessons that this has. You can follow along with your student text. Yes, there's a teacher edition that you can access in your online science standards that you're going to be in here. If that is important to you, you're going to see that. What is going to be in the digital course, so you know ahead of time as you plan. Each topic is divided into a certain number of lessons, and that's how you're going to be able to view it with the table of contents, and everything is going to be arranged in a beautiful way. You start with essential questions or phenomena base that you're going to have a warm up type of lab or kickoff quest that is going to get them thinking and navigating a question with their hands or their one of their senses. So show what you know, and then you go from there. So this is the way that it's kicked off, just similar way as grade 7. So once you get familiar with this, let's say you're using this in the K5 range, then the build up to middle school, obviously the complexity is going to be more, and the different elements and videos and stuff is going to be for that older crowd. However, you are going to be used to the structure of it. All right, this is really cool that the kiddos can just go ahead and check off like a little checkbox as they complete each lesson or each topic quest. So quick kickoff, plan a trip around the world of patterns. Where on earth is the middle of the night? And then here's the phenomenon. You go ahead and do this, and then the quest kickoff. So check in with the lab one. Say watch a video about the planetarium curator, and it's going to go. All right, so you connect labs. You're going to have all this here, and if you need to print an additional one, maybe you have a tag along, you will have access to that in your teacher database, in your teacher platform. So here you can see that you connect lab. You can write right on here, this is consumable unless you're planning to reuse it again, then you can go ahead and print sheets, but that would be a lot of stuff to print. I would just say don't. Just let them write on here. So here you have this literary connection, a game if you choose to do it. All these parts are set up in order in your teacher view. All right, so if you're following along with your laptop open or on it, you're going to be able to follow along exactly what you need as it says, okay, go ahead and open this video, go ahead and open that. You're gonna be able to follow it up in order, okay? It's vastly different than what I showed you to your first lesson. I can demonstrate that Earth's gravity pulls objects towards the center of the Earth. So I like the way that they frame that, like as something kind of like a positive affirmation. The literary skills of vocabulary, the academic vocabulary, and then again, it's going to tell you, okay, watch a video here. That's the icon you're looking for. There is going to be like a search and seek kind of activity at the beginning of this textbook that teaches them how to navigate the pages and what each page means, and they do it in a game format. Here you have you investigate labs. Okay, again, you started with a quest kickoff, a hands-on type of element, and then now you're in a scientist. So explore gravity, put a small hole on the bottom. This is again another activity within the text as they're reading along. So it's again, it's information and do, explore, information, do, explore, investigate, information, do, explore, investigate, discover, and so on. So again, if you really spend some time navigating this, you'll understand the great scope of it and how it grows and develops from level to level, check in with questions and stuff. You can have access to quizzes and additional tests as well if you'd like to do that. Check in with a lab. Again, here comes the lab again. Goes to lesson 2. So this is just so you can get an idea of what one topic entails. This is still that same topic, visual literacy connection, and then you go from there with this specific activity. Again, another interactivity, and then another lesson check-in. So you have several of those lesson check-ins to basically review everything. You have the like U engineer. So you had the U lab, you investigated all this stuff, and the quest. Now U engineer is that more of a STEM activity. It has the phenomenon that you are going to base that on, and then it's going to say design it, and it's going to have that little bites challenges, and you have those ones U engineer in grade 7 as well, just a step up obviously, or in grade 6 too, but obviously I have grade 7 and not 6. Design it, and then it's like step by step so they can go ahead and check off. Then you have your quest finding. This is how you wrap up a unit or a topic to make sure like they wrap it together and they're understood. And then the career connection. So you have these with the scientist connections in the middle grades, and then here's the career connection. I think that's fabulous. Obviously that was another very long and lengthy video that included a lot of information that I threw at you. I hope that this answered a lot of your frequently asked questions and that it helped demystify a little bit about elevateScience and what it actually is and how to use it, how to set it up, and how to set yourself up for success. Because when you use stuff like this or any kind of traditional curricula, you're gonna need to do some PD work and take some time with it and learn the system, do a deep dive and play around with it for a while. Do those, introductory Once you stuff. Are in there and you open the book and then you open to the topic, you're gonna be fine as long as you have the materials you need on hand, because this is a hands-on curricula. If you have any questions or anything in specific that I did not answer, please let me know down below. If you found this helpful, I greatly appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Save this video in your playlist for future if you choose to go this route and forgot how to do something and can play it again. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time.
Let's take it to the start. It was just me and my guitar, a dream.